Right, and welcome back to Howson versus. Boy, do we have, what's that gaff called with all the faces on? Mount Rushmore of wits ahead of us today. Before we get started, I want to know, what song are you listening to at the moment and by who? Because, well, I'm interested. So write down in the comments, what song are you playing more than you should do? Common people, Pulp, thanks for asking. Right, listen, let's start with Jordan Henderson. Speaking of common people and a lot of old pulp. According to the Telegraph, Jordan Henderson, the beacon of shining light, he was going to take football to Saudi Arabia and make it sustainable despite paying fuckwits like Jordan Henderson. Was it 600 grand a week he was getting? Mate, I'll go belly dance out there for 600 grand a week, I'm going to be honest with you. However, after 6 months, he's gone, Jesus, titty fucking Christ, get me back to Merseyside. How bad must Saudi Arabia be if you want to go and live back in, well, let's be honest, it's either fucking Liverpool or Sunderland, isn't it? Right, if you're Jordan Henderson. I mean, I guess he's allowed to live other places. I haven't checked his card, but I think he can live anywhere else. But he's probably going to go live in either Sunderland or fucking Merseyside, and 600 smackaroonies a week isn't cutting it for him in Saudi Arabia. To be fair, being managed by Steven Gerrard has got to rank as a fucking low point in his career, I'm sure. He was talking about all they could build, all they could achieve together, help build a club, build a league. And after 6 months has just gone, yeah, I want to go home. So much for the dreaming, eh, Jordan? So now what? Now who's going to bring him back? Who's going to pay him that? Because by the way, that's whatever he's on. I don't know if it's 600 fucking grand a week. Who's going to pay him that to come back to the Premier League or the Championship or fucking League One? Anyway, Jordan Henderson, you're a fucking melon. Well done. Speaking of melons, Simon Jordan. Oh, we should have done this the other way around, shouldn't we? We should have done Simon Jordan Henderson. No, man. All right, Simon Jordan has seen his outright. The glassest of glass houses, this. And he's clearly no mirrors in his house. Simon Jordan is kicking off at the amount of press attention Manchester United get on talkSPORT. If you had an irony meter, it just exploded. Because that's fucking ridiculous. Simon Jordan is one of the, Simon Jordan and talkSPORT, their to-do list in the morning says, talk smack about Manchester United. And that is every morning, right? Every single morning. Have a piss, brush your teeth, talk some shit about Manchester United. It's right there. It's the third thing to do. Even more than blink and breathe in and out. So Simon Jordan on talkSPORT saying Manchester United get far too much attention. We as Manchester United fans, we know this, but you fuckers wouldn't exist. And let's be honest, this channel wouldn't exist either. But it is what it is. It's a Manchester United supporting channel, and we are defending the good nature of the club against fuckwits like talkSPORT and Simon Jordan.
Because it's Manchester United, people will say, yes, Man United get far more press and far more recognition than they deserve because their football team is average, their performances are poor, the culture of the club is fundamentally wrong, their fans do nothing but moan about their owners, and we spend a lot of our time, not just you and I, but media full stop, focusing on Man United because it's a British trait. We love to see car crashes, and that's what Manchester United is.
Okay, so should we talk about what's going on at Chelsea? Spent $1 billion, got this absolute fucking dreamboat of a manager in, and shit show. No, we're not talking about them. No, we're talking about Arsenal fucking it up again, for the 20th year running. No, we're not going to talk about them. No, all right, okay. Let's talk about United again then, shall we? We know we're not good at the moment, but still, anything that we do echoes. And we're coming back to talkSPORT in a minute, actually, as well, because the fucking favouritism exhibited. And again, still talking about Manchester United, of course, is a piss take. On Twitter this week, we was talking about Manchester United's requirements to change our wage structure and, you know, the fact that we overpay. And I don't know if you know this, but there's a correlation between paying the most, like your wage bill, and success. If you sort most leagues by the teams that pay the most of their players and the teams that pay the least of their players, you are going to get very, very close to what the league table would look like at the end of the season. It's a 98% correlation until Manchester United come in and absolutely volleyed that out the window. United are completely bucking a trend because we sit at the top of who spends the most on player wages we do not sit anywhere near the top for who collects the most trophies. And that's one of the issues that we've had. We've given massive contracts to fuckwits. We've given massive contracts to players that haven't performed over a long enough period of time to get those. And we've had to pay massive contracts to players just to get them to come and sign for Manchester United. Now, there's going to be a period of an adjustment. We saw what happened with Alexis Sanchez and the complete shit show that has had a knock-on effect to this day still, because we're still overpaying on certain contracts, all because of the precedent that was set with Alexis Sanchez. You have to get that genie back in the bottle. And that means there's going to be some pain at some point. You want people to be coming to Manchester United, not because we offered to triple your wage and everyone else was only going to give you about a 10% raise if you sign for them. We want you to come and sign for Manchester United because you think you can win something here. Now, clearly that's not something that we can put on the table and offer someone. We can't say, come to United and you might win the league. We can say, come to United and you might get about 500,000 extra followers on Instagram if you're into that sort of shit. So you have to start reducing the wage bill. Now, people saw their arse at the fact that it was like, they're thinking about getting rid of Casemiro to help cut the wage bill. And quite rightly, people go, hang on, we're getting rid of him, but not the likes of Maguire or McTominay or blah, blah, blah. You added all that extra bit on yourself. You just said we're thinking of getting rid of Casemiro. Not we're only thinking about getting rid of Casemiro. Now, I think there'll be a lot of fucking collateral damage when it comes to trying to trim the wage bill. There's a lot of pretenders in Manchester United shirts that aren't Manchester United players. And it will be difficult to get all of that back into the bottle. And there'll probably be some fuck-ups in that time. But there has to be an attempt made, otherwise you end up with Barcelona's situation where they're paying the likes of Griezmann 800 grand a week and they're activating more fucking levers than the average train signal box. It's absolute mayhem what's going on there. They bring in $1 billion a year and $1 billion in debt. It's just this, no wonder they're absolutely begging for the Super League. For football to exist as a business, it has to be run as a business. And United at the moment have just been fucking it up for far too long. So we have to go to a point where we start being a little bit frugal. And it's probably going to suck because at the same time, we're trying to rebuild. You might have to rebuild with people who've got the right character and the right stuff rather than the ones who've got the right accountant and the right agent. But alas, some fuckwit on Twitter replied to me saying, weird how no one ever mentions Manchester City's wage structure. All they ever do is win trophies. Why would you mention Manchester City's wage structure unless you was bringing it up in relation to the 115 charges? And the rumours of extra banking that they've got elsewhere, or the fact that they might have the on-the-books accounting or the off-the-books accounting. That's the rumour, right? Why would you mention Manchester City's? As you're right, Manchester City are winning at the moment. And when you're winning, you kind of get to do whatever the fuck you like. And as I replied to him, are Manchester City facing FFP restrictions? Well, see the 115 thing, but basically no. Why? Because they're spending within their means, allegedly, and they're also selling players for decent money. They only got 100 million for Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus. If that's at Manchester United, we're measuring Gabriel Jesus up for a fucking testimonial suit, and we get about 80 grand for Zinchenko as a loan fee. We don't seem to have the ability to move people on when there's still a little bit of value left in them. We absolutely drain all the value out of them, so we essentially end up fucking paying for someone to come and remove them from the building. So Manchester City aren't facing FFP restrictions for that reason. I said, are they requiring a complete retooling of their squad? No, they're fucking not. They won the treble last season and then went absolutely buck wild in the transfer market yet again, bringing in Nunes and Doku and Gvardiol, who's been shit, by the way, but no one talks about that because they're the reigning treble holders. That's the privilege of winning. I said, are they selling players for good money? I've already talked about that, so let's move on. Did City's owners level them with $1 billion in debt? No, they didn't. They opened their pockets and they shoved money in there like it was a stripper's G-string. I said, yeah, it's weird how no one's mentioning City's fucking wage structure, innit? You dick. City fans were mocking Manchester United playing Wigan this week, saying, imagine if they lost 1-0 to Wigan. The problem for Manchester City is a lot of the new fans were still Chelsea fans at the time of this little incident happening just 10 years ago when City actually lost to Wigan in the FA Cup final. Now here's the thing, fuckers. If Sheikh Mansour had decided that he fancied pies more than the beautiful smell of Clayton Alloline, and for those who aren't local, Google it, then you might be looking up from fucking League One at Wigan Athletic treble winners of the world. Because it was only by the fucking chance that he bought City and not Wigan of Dave Whelan that you're not looking at them. Because being real, Wigan are about the same fucking size as Manchester City. And it's only the fact that you lot won the lottery why you're in a different position to them now. And let's get back to talkSPORT. We might as well call this the weekly talkSPORT wibble, haven't we? Because fuck me, do they love booking a place on this. Now, Danny Murphy, who's actually all right. Well, he's all right. He's all right. Kind of. Went on about a 3-hour rant this morning about Bruno Fernandes's dive against Wigan. So, he said it's horrendous. There's a tiny little touch, and unfortunately, what we are doing by giving those penalties is we're encouraging players to dive with any contact, because there was not enough contact to send him over, and then he puts his foot on the floor and thinks, oh, I better go over. And it's an exaggerated fall. It's an awful decision and encouraging diving. It's encouraging players to go down. And last day, viewers, don't worry about it. We have got a full crack team searching the archives, because we know that Danny Murphy wouldn't have just spoken about this in the midst of what happened last night without going and doing a super duper deep dive on what Jota did against Newcastle, because that would be incredibly biased, and we don't think Danny Murphy's that kind of guy. We are sure that he did at least a 4-hour segment with a PowerPoint and a pointy stick to show us exactly what happened with Jota and the fuck all contact he did before making 45 more steps and then throwing himself to the floor like he'd been shot in the fucking forehead. Would he? Or did he not do that? Did he just talk about Manchester United? Yet again, here we go. Talk fucking sport, talking Manchester United. Right, just change your fucking name so to talk about Manchester United all day, every motherfucking day. You do more content about United than we do. Get a fucking grip. Laters.